Listen to the true crime story of the serial killer, Amelia Dyer. Level B1, Oxford Reading University.
In Victorian England, cities were growing very fast. They became very crowded and dirty because too many people were moving in. Life in cities was difficult. A lot of people were poor and unhappy. If you couldn't pay for things, you could end up on the street or in a workhouse, even if you were just a kid. Now, imagine being so poor that you can't afford to take care of your own baby. This was the terrible reality for many. This problem caused a dirty business called baby farming to appear. Here is how it worked. Some people could say, "Give me your children and some money and I will take care of them." Sounds convenient, right? But there was a dark side. Some of these baby farmers didn't really want to spend money on the babies. So, the sooner the child was out of the picture, the better for them. The most infamous of these dishonest baby farmers was Amelia Dyer. This is her story. Amelia was born in 1836 in Bristol, England. Her father was a shoemaker, and she was the youngest of the 5 children. Luckily for her, she went to school and got an education, but life at home was hard. Her mother, Sarah, became really sick after catching a serious disease. It affected Sarah's mind, and poor Amelia had to look after her all the time. When her mom died in 1848, Amelia moved to her aunt's place in the heart of Bristol. It was a peaceful time in her life. She learned how to make corsets, and even had her own little place to live after her dad died in 1859. Life took another turn when she met George Thomas. Even though she was only 24 and he was 59, they fell in love and got married quickly. To avoid gossip, they lied about their ages. Amelia then decided to become a nurse, maybe because she remembered taking care of her sick mom. One day, a midwife told her about baby farming. Back then, society looked down upon women who gave birth without being married. According to the law, fathers didn't have to pay for child support, so these scared mothers were left on their own. That was where Amelia saw an opportunity. However, she didn't put the idea into practice until her husband died in 1869. She had a little daughter, and without any money coming in, she had to think fast. So, she moved to Reading, a town near London. There, she started telling everyone about her new job as a baby farmer.
A lot more English stories and audiobooks in the EWA app. Listen, learn new words, and play word games to memorize them. All in one place. appewa.com.
She told nurses, midwives, and even put up advertisements in newspapers and local shops. She told single mothers she was going to take care of their babies for some money, promising them a happy home. Amelia even wrote letters saying how she wished she could be a mom herself and wanted to look after these children. This story touched many mothers' hearts, making them trust her. While some women could only give Amelia a little money, others from richer families paid a lot to avoid embarrassment. These mothers probably hoped to come back for their kids someday. However, they didn't know how dangerous it was to leave their children with Amelia. Some baby farms worked similarly to foster care today. In others, however, people only cared about money and not about the children. Most dishonest baby farmers worked in the same way. The less they spent on the babies, the more money they kept for themselves. This meant that many children were left without food. Sometimes they were even given dangerous substances like alcohol or opium. These substances not only kept the babies quiet, but also made them less hungry. Obviously, when kept in such awful conditions, these children died often. It was easy to believe they died of natural causes, like being too weak from birth or not getting enough breast milk. So, the actual cause of death was easy to hide. The death certificates served as proof to any mother who came back looking for her child, although many never did, out of shame. This was how Amelia earned her living. Once a baby was dead, she even sold the baby's belongings. After some famous baby farmers were judged for murder, the police turned their attention to Amelia's business, too. In 1879, they arrested her. By that time, she was already guilty of about 100 deaths. However, she wasn't charged for murder. Instead, she was charged with child neglect and had to do 6 months of hard work. This punishment might sound light, but it broke Amelia. She tried to end her life multiple times. However, she managed to make it through her sentence and was set free. Amelia's dark business was a heavy load on her mental health, and she often ended up in mental hospitals. During her stays, she used her nursing background to play the system and get special treatment. These hospital breaks usually came when she felt the police were following her. One time, she agreed to care for a governess's child. The mother had a strange feeling about Amelia, so she soon returned with a visit. She wanted to check on her baby. Amelia showed her the baby, but the governess realized immediately that it wasn't hers. Her baby had a special birthmark on their body, but this child didn't. The poor woman understood that her child was probably dead. But before she could tell the police, Amelia was once again put into a mental hospital. Life in the hospitals was easier than in prison, so she sometimes lied about her condition to get in. Yet, she was never locked up for too long. Around this time, she began using the same opium she gave to the babies and became an addict herself. In the 1880s, people started to worry more about baby farming and question the safety of this practice. The government was talking about a reform of the foster care system. The amount of attention the problem received put Amelia's business in danger. She couldn't just leave dying babies lying around. So, she decided she needed to kill them right away. She soon developed her own special way to do it. She took some tape and put it around the baby's neck. Then she pulled it tight. When the baby stopped breathing, she put the body in a paper bag and threw it into the river. One day, Amelia's daughter asked about all the babies coming and going so quickly. Amelia, with a mysterious look in her eyes, said, "I send them to Jesus. He wants them more than their moms do." In 1896, Evelina Marmon, a young waitress, was looking for a baby farmer. At 25, she had a baby girl, Doris. She loved the child but couldn't afford to raise her. She needed a kind person to look after Doris, hoping one day she could take her back. She saw an ad in the newspaper. It looked perfect. A couple without kids, offering a loving home in the country for just £10. Evelina was very happy. After finding the money, Evelina met the woman from the ad at a train station. The woman, who was Amelia, was older and rougher than expected. However, Evelina became less nervous when she saw Amelia hold and talk to baby Doris. Evelina cried as she boarded her train. She didn't know that she was never going to see Doris alive again. Soon, Evelina received a letter from Amelia, saying the baby was fine. Evelina wanted to keep a connection with her child, so she wrote back. But she didn't receive any letters after that. Instead of taking baby Doris to a loving home, as promised, Amelia went to London where her adult daughter Polly lived. Without wasting time, Amelia reached for her tape. Then she left Doris to suffocate to death. Doris's body was put into a paper bag together with stones. Amelia traveled to Reading and threw the heavy bag into the river. But, although Amelia was mostly successful in her murders, her life of crime couldn't last forever. One evening, A man on a boat noticed a strange package in the river. When he pulled it up, a horrible thing fell out. It was a baby's foot. The man immediately brought it to the police. They found a label with an address on the bag. It led them straight to Amelia's door in Reading. 4 days later, the police broke into her house, but the place was empty. The only things left were the horrible smell of death and the papers on the adopted children. The police quickly realized that many babies died in this house. When they searched the river further, they found more tiny victims, including baby Doris. This whole time, Evelina didn't know where her child was. However, the police went through Amelia's receipts. They then questioned all the women whose names were mentioned there. Evelina was one of them, and she recognized Doris. She then told the police everything she knew about Amelia. The police watched Amelia's house for some time, and finally, they managed to arrest her. While going through her belongings, the police found the tape. Later she said, "The tape around the baby's neck is how you know it's my work." The trial attracted a lot of attention. Amelia's own family testified against her, especially her daughter, Polly. While Amelia tried to claim she was crazy, the jury didn't believe her. It took them only 5 minutes to decide on her punishment. Amelia was only convicted for killing Doris. The rest of the bodies weren't identified. However, she probably killed around 400 babies. Amelia Dyer was hanged on June 10, 1886, at 9 a.m. sharp. Her horrible crimes led to major changes in British adoption laws. However, her dark shadow wasn't fully gone. 2 years later, a bag was found on a train in Plymouth. Inside was a baby girl, barely alive. She belonged to a widow named Jane Hill, who paid a woman, Mrs. Stewart, to care for her child. After getting the money, Mrs. Stewart left the baby on a train. Then some information on Mrs. Stewart's real identity appeared. The police thought that it could be Polly, Amelia's daughter.
Send this video to a friend who likes true crime stories. And now, enjoy another English audiobook.